Stoic warrior. We live in a world where people constantly strive to prove something. They prove they're right. They prove they're worthy. They over-explain. Evenweg. Just to be seen. But a Stoic doesn't do that. A Stoic doesn't chase attention. A Stoic doesn't seek validation. A Stoic doesn't justify himself to the world, for he knows silence is power. Most people, when hurt, rejected, or misunderstood, rush to fix things, chasing those who've already chosen not to understand. That's weakness masquerading as courage. You call someone, they don't answer. You text again. You send another message, pouring your heart into a long paragraph, hoping they'll see your worth. But the truth is, the more you explain, the more you beg, the more power you lose. That's not Stoic. Men like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus mastered the strength of silence, not because they didn't care, but because they understood the more you chase what's beyond your control, the more control you surrender. Epictetus said it best: when you seek others' attention or beg for understanding, you hand over your peace. You say, "My calm depends on their response." That's not peace, it's a prison. True strength is walking away without a word. When disrespected, it's not pride, it's dignity that doesn't need to shout. It doesn't chase. It doesn't explain. It quietly withdraws. That silence isn't empty. It's discipline. It's self-respect. It's inner strength saying, "I don't need your validation to know my worth." And that silence terrifies others, because when you don't react, they lose the control they thought they had. Today, let's explore the silence that builds strength, not weakness. The silence that makes others wonder what's changed. The silence that lets your absence speak louder than any message you could send. We'll unpack 6 profound truths, 6 reasons why silence is a Stoic superpower, and why those who master it never chase, beg, or explain. If you're tired of giving too much, if you've been misunderstood, if you've chased someone who walked away, this is your moment to shift. Let this talk be the reminder you didn't know you needed. Before we dive into the first truth, do me a small favor: like this video. If it resonates with you, share your thoughts and affirmations in the comments as you watch. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe for more Stoic growth content. Most importantly, don't skip any part of this video. One idea, one truth, could change how you live forever. I want you to leave this affirmation in the comments. My silence is my strength. First, silence makes them feel your absence, not just hear your words. Have you ever noticed this strange truth? When you stop explaining, stop chasing, people start thinking. That's the paradox of silence. It doesn't push, it pulls. Think back to the last time you were hurt. Maybe someone ignored you, disrespected you, or turned their back. Your instinct screamed, say something, defend yourself, prove your worth. But the truth is, the more you speak, the less they listen. The more you chase, the further they pull away. The more you explain, the less your words matter. When you choose silence, your absence suddenly speaks louder than your presence ever did. Those who ignore your silence likely never valued your words. Elbert Hubbard said it well: a Stoic knows silence unsettles others in ways noise never could. By staying quiet when others expect you to beg, by stepping back instead of reacting, you force them to confront their own actions. Silence is a mirror that reflects truth. It declares, "I see how you've treated me, but I value myself enough not to justify it to you. This silence doesn't come from ego, it comes from clarity. You know if they cared, they'd ask. If they respected you, they'd reach out. If they were emotionally mature, they wouldn't need a long explanation to see your worth. So, you choose silence. In that silence, you reclaim the power you once gave away. You stop wasting energy on those who don't even understand themselves. You stop healing through words. Because some wounds heal better in quiet. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Your silence will provoke them. It will confuse them. They'll wonder, why isn't he reacting? Why hasn't he responded? Has he stopped caring? That's when the power shifts. Because silence speaks a truth, they can't ignore you. Owe them no explanation. Not anymore. Second, silence lets you hear the truth more clearly. The world is loud, but silence helps you listen not to others, but to yourself. In moments of pain, betrayal, or confusion, most men seek answers from others, friends, social media, or even the person who hurt them, hoping a conversation will fix the wrong. But a Stoic does something different. He embraces silence, not because he's numb to pain, but because he knows true answers come from reflection, not noise. Marcus Aurelius taught us, if something external troubles you, the pain comes not from the thing itself, but from your judgment of it. And you can change that judgment any time. In silence, your mind finds calm. Truth rises when the noise fades. You start hearing truths like, they never truly respected me. I just didn't want to admit it. Or, I'm not angry they left. I'm angry I stayed too long. Or, I don't need closure. I need peace. These insights don't come from endless texts. They emerge in quiet moments when you stop explaining and start listening to your inner voice. Silence gives you space to separate your emotions from your worth. When hurt, your feelings scream, chase them, explain yourself, prove your value, but in silence, your worth whispers. Preserve your dignity. Protect your peace. Let go. That's why Stoics don't react rashly. They don't decide in anger. They embrace the sacred pause before the storm. Society tells you to speak your mind, to vent your feelings, to never let disrespect slide. But here's what most misrespect isn't won by shouting louder. It's earned by staying calm in silence while others drown in noise. The quieter you are, the more others reveal their true nature. You don't need to ask, do they care? Their actions will answer. You don't need to beg for clarity, the truth shines in your silence. Most importantly, you stop reacting on impulse and start responding to life with wisdom. Silence isn't passive, it's focused. It's intentional. It's the gateway to inner wisdom few dare to cross. So, when confusion or emotions overwhelm you, don't rush to act. Pause. The answers aren't out there. They're within you, and you'll hear them in silence. Third, begging for closure is a betrayal of your own strength. Let's face it, chasing closure often brings more pain than peace. We all crave that final talk, that moment of resolution. But here's the hard truth. If someone truly valued you, you wouldn't need to beg for closure. They'd offer it with respect. If they don't, your silence becomes the answer. Epictetus said, don't explain your philosophy. Live it. Stop chasing endings and start embodying your values. This applies because when you stop seeking closure and live by your principles, you no longer need others to validate your pain. Your hurt is real, but demanding they explain why they hurt you gives them control over your healing. The cycle goes like this. They hurt you. You demand answers. They respond with coldness or avoidance, and you feel worse. The loop repeats until you realize closure isn't something they give, it's something you grant yourself by staying silent and walking away. You convince yourself that one last talk, one final explanation, will fix it all. But in truth, you're just pleading with someone who's already chosen to hurt you. You're explaining to someone who's made up their mind. You're wasting energy, hoping they'll mend your broken expectations. That's not closure. It's abandoning yourself. Stoics know emotions can cloud judgment, especially when ego gets involved. You want to be seen as good, understood, validated. But chasing that validation betrays your own growth. True closure comes when you accept that their actions are all they can offer. No explanation will make them respect you more, love you more, or be more honest. You stop waiting for a conversation that'll never happen. In that acceptance, your power returns. The person who hurt you doesn't need to understand your worth. You do. Those who leave don't need a goodbye. You can say it without words. Those who vanish don't deserve a second chance. Your silence is their answer. So, stop drafting unsent letters. Stop rehearsing the perfect speech. Stop seeking closure from those who were never open to you. Embrace the silence. Let it be the space where your self-respect breathes again. Fourth, silence reveals what words try to hide. When you stay quiet, masks fall away. Words can be beautiful, but they can also lie. People say what sounds good, what they think you want to hear. They offer excuses, justifications, apologies. But silence cannot deceive. It's raw, honest, and undeniable. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "What you do speaks so loudly I cannot hear what you say." Stoics understood this deeply. They judged others not by apologies but by consistent actions. The best way to see those actions clearly is to stop talking and observe. Silence isn't passive. It's a powerful lens that exposes truth. When you stop explaining yourself, others reveal who they really are. Trust me, they'll show their true colors. Those who respect you will value your presence and reach out with sincerity. Those who used you will vanish, as they never truly cared. Those who manipulated you will grow angry or confused, not because you did wrong, but because they've lost their grip on you. Most don't realize this. Words can create illusions, but silence reveals reality. You don't need to confront or challenge them. Just step back and watch. See who reaches out when you're quiet. Notice who disappears when you stop giving. Observe who gets angry when they can't provoke you. That's the truth. Raw and necessary. Sometimes, silence cuts deeper than 1,000 arguments. People can dismiss your words, but they can't deny your absence. They can argue with your perspective, but they can't fight your stillness. When you stay silent, you stop fueling their illusions and quit playing their emotional games. You stop pretending their words outweigh their actions. That silence brings clarity. You no longer need their explanations for why they treated you poorly. Their silence, distance, and behavior say it all. You start trusting patterns over promises, actions over apologies, reality over empty words. That's the Stoic way, not cold, but clear, not indifferent, but awake, not heartless, but disciplined. The next time someone tries to talk their way back into your life, Don't rush to respond. Stay silent. And let the truth speak without words. Fifth, refusing to explain yourself is the ultimate sign of confidence. Let's be honest. Being misunderstood hurts. You want to defend yourself, to explain why you're not what they think. You want to say, "That's not me." But a Stoic doesn't chase others' understanding. He finds it within himself. Why? Because explaining to those who've already judged you isn't confidence, it's fear of being misjudged. Marcus Aurelius said, "Don't waste the rest of your life worrying about others' opinions, unless it's for the common good." Every time you try to convince someone of your worth, goodness, or loyalty, you're spending precious time and energy on their judgment. That's not strength, it's insecurity. A man who doesn't explain himself isn't arrogant, he's at peace. He knows his intentions are pure, his actions are consistent. His worth doesn't need defending to those who refuse to see it. This level of detachment isn't easy. You'll be called cold, selfish, or distant. You may lose people you once held close. But consider this, losing those who never truly understood you isn't a loss, it's alignment. The hard truth is, most people don't want to understand you. They want to control how others perceive you. When your silence shatters that illusion, they get angry. Not because you hurt them, but because you stopped playing their game. When you stop explaining, you lead with your energy. You don't justify your distance. You don't explain your withdrawal. You don't defend your peace. You simply act. Those who truly belong in your life will understand your silence without needing a script. That kind of energy is rare and powerful. It unsettles manipulators and frustrates those who exploit. But those who stay, they respect you deeply, knowing you'll never lower your worth to fit their misconceptions. This is the silence of a true gentleman, calm, unshaken, and authentic. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing peace. You don't need to justify your boundaries as reasonable. You don't have to proclaim your value in places where silence already speaks volumes. Sixth, letting go in silence is the lesson they need most. There's unmatched power in walking away, not in anger, not in drama, but in quiet release. You don't slam doors or send emotional final messages. You simply step away. In that silence, you teach a lesson words can't convey. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Your silence forces others to sit with their own thoughts, their guilt, and the echo of how they treated you. Your letting go says, "I no longer need to prove myself to you." It says, "I won't stay where I'm not valued." It says, "My peace is worth more than this connection." Most people can't handle that energy. They expect you to react, to beg, to fight for closure, or to crumble for their attention. But when you choose silence, you stop playing their emotional games. You walk away with dignity, and your silence forces them to face themselves. They expected you to chase, to fight, to return, but you don't. That terrifies them more than any argument, because they realize they've lost control over your energy. They no longer have the upper hand. They didn't expect you to truly leave. That's when the lesson begins. People don't learn from your words. They learn from your absence. They don't change when you demand respect. They might change when your absence shows them what they've lost. And if they don't, that's fine. The lesson isn't just for them. It's for you. You learn that peace doesn't need permission. You realize not everyone deserves your explanation. Sometimes, silence isn't just strength, it's healing. By detaching in silence, you free yourself from toxic cycles. You stop bleeding for those who can't grasp your pain. You stop explaining storms to people who only live in shelters. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care too much about your soul to keep it in a neglected space. That's why Stoics don't rush to react or chase justice. They don't seek validation. They let silence speak for them. You don't need to shout, "I'm done." You just need to be done. That's real strength. That's the silence that makes those who thought they controlled you tremble. So don't fear stepping away. Stay silent and let them sit in the void where your voice once was. If you've made it this far, you feel it, a shift inside you. A quiet realization. A truth you've always known but may have forgotten. You don't need to chase, beg, or explain to be worthy. You don't need to be loud to be heard. You don't need to prove your point to be understood. You don't need to sacrifice your peace to make others comfortable. That's the core of Stoicism, not coldness, but clarity, not detachment from love, but from chaos. Stoics teach us a powerful truth. Silence isn't weakness, it's mastery. It's refusing to waste energy on what's beneath you. It's the confidence that your presence holds value, even when you're no longer there. There will be moments when emotions urge you to explain, argue, or prove yourself. In those moments, remember this: your silence may not win the argument, but it will bring you back to yourself. Each time you choose not to react, you build inner peace. Each time you quietly step away, you strengthen your self-worth. Each time you hold your dignity, you forge a strength no one can take. If there's one lesson to carry from this, it's this: let silence be your final word. Not out of ego or resentment, but from a deep, unshakable self-respect. Thank you for watching. If this message stirred your soul, hit that like button now. Share it with someone ready to grow. Drop your affirmations in the comments. Your voice matters here. Don't skip any part of this video. One idea, one truth, could reshape your life forever. I want you to leave this affirmation in the comments. My silence is my final word and my greatest strength. Let it anchor you, remind you, and guide you to live with the quiet power of a Stoic